Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Raw Take. I'm your host, Rob Reed. This is your review for the August 2nd, 2021 edition of Monday Night Raw. Blah, 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 blah. How to explain this show? It's a Raw. Lots of rematches. A lot of rematches. And a lot of 50-50 booking. Let's get into it. This episode starts with Bobby Lashley comes out. He is responding to Goldberg's how to explain this? Goldberg wants Bobby Lashley to respond. Wants Bobby Lashley to challenge him again after he already said he wouldn't dignify his challenge with an answer. Bobby Lashley comes out, still saying he won't fight Goldberg. This brings out Goldberg to a ton of boos, yet all of a sudden, those boos turn into cheers out of nowhere. Wonder what could be happening with the crowd noise. Well, there's a lot of it. There's a whole lot of it. Immediately, as Goldberg picks up the microphone, there's a ton of "We Want Wyatt" chants in the crowd. And all of a sudden, those chants are the audio is squashed so that Goldberg can drone on for like 2 or 3 minutes on the same without really saying anything. Then finally he starts to leave. MVP gets in the face of Goldberg's son, who is in the crowd, and apparently Goldberg's son has aged about 8 years in the last 3. Because he is like pretty big, right? I think he's like 15, and he very much resembles Hook, Taz's son from AEW. And like body stature. Like he's a big kid. Goldberg comes back out and spears MVP. Later, I'll just say it. Later on, there's a backstage segment where Lashley just out of the blue says, "I'll fight him. I'll fight him." So all of this led to a backstage segment where the title match is confirmed. They don't do it in ring, which you would expect. I mean, as terrible as the contract signing crap from SmackDown was, at least they did it in ring. They decided to do 2 segments where the title match, where Lashley finally agreed to the match backstage. So weird. After this, we get Veer and Shanky have a handicap match against Drew McIntyre, which ends up being really quick and ends up being a DQ when Jinder Mahal attacks Drew McIntyre. Then they grab a chair, and Drew McIntyre grabs a sword and decides to fend off 3 men with a sword. People talk about Nick Gage and a pizza cutter. Drew McIntyre tried to murder 3 men with a sword. This was stupid. And again, this is a storyline that could have been done so easily about the past between Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, yet instead the entire feud revolves around a sword and a motorcycle. A motorcycle nobody knew about until a month ago. At least Drew McIntyre has been carrying out a sword for like a year. Jinder Mahal miraculously is a Undertaker American badass, Canadian badass biker all of a sudden. Actually, I think he's more Chuck Palumbo than he is Undertaker. This was just bad. I don't care. I don't care about this feud one way or another. Maybe it'll be an okay match at SummerSlam. I doubt it, because I'm not saying Jinder is bad, but he is very basic. Hopefully he's gotten better. But I've seen him do the Colossus, and he still messes up the Colossus, which is not. I wouldn't think is that hard of a move to do. It's a Cobra Clutch Slam. Plenty of people have done that move. And there's so many times I've seen him do that move really weird and botch it. I don't get it. So after that, we have a match between Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. This was actually a pretty good match. Simple. Nia Jax played the monster heel really well. Rhea Ripley played really good, fighting from underneath. She fended off Shayna Baszler. They went to try to do a distraction thing, and it backfired. Nia Jax accidentally knocked Shane off the apron, and Rhea rolled her up. 1, 2, 3. Easy. I'm fine with it. After this, it looks like... Now, was frustrating. They had a segment that was starting to get hot with the crowd. Nia Jax was fine, and Shayna finally got in the ring, started arguing with each other. People started to get really hot. Everybody thought this was going to be finally going to be the blow off where Shayna attacked, or either Shayna or Nia attacked the other. People were like, the crowd was ready for it, and instead Shayna got out, and immediately the crowd booed the segment. But as Shayna's walking off, Rhea Ripley does a very, very weak version of the Riptide on Nia Jax. I think it was supposed to look a lot more impressive than it ended up looking. It very much resembled the hip toss that Lex Luger gave Yokozuna. It was a slam, but it was very quickly done. Like there wasn't much hang time there. But really, I thought the segment was really good. It made Rhea look good. It made her look smart. She didn't look dumb on the distraction. She ended up rolling Nia up. I'm fine with... Normally I get really annoyed with roll-up finishes, but I was fine with this one. It's the smaller wrestler getting one over on the bigger wrestler. And it's about time we saw Nia take a pin for a change. And overall, I thought the only thing I would have liked to seen is Shayna finally slap the crap out of Nia. I'm gonna try to keep down the language on my reviews. I lately I've been a little throwing a few too many F-bombs. I'm gonna try to keep those down. After this, we have Mason TBar take another rematch. We have Mason TBar take on Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. This is in Mustafa Ali's hometown, Chicago. So guess what has to happen? He has to lose. Because that's Vince McMahon's favorite thing. When you're in somebody's hometown, they gotta lose. Cause it's heat. It's heat, pal. No, it's not. It's stupid and nobody likes it. There's a difference between this is, ooh, we don't like these heels, and oh, this is so annoying. Stop this BS. But the match itself was good. Just like last week. The match was good. You have 4 really good wrestlers. You have TBar and Mace, who are a really good monster tag team. They've kind of been building them up since the Retribution split, which I do like. I think they're a really good tag team. And you have Mustafa Ali and Mansoor, who have incredible chemistry together. They are a really good act together right now. And so near the end of this match, Ali's I believe he's trying to do a springboard. And I can't remember if it was TBar or Mace knocks Mansoor into the ropes. This trips up Ali. They both get hit with power bombs. That's your finish. Overall, I wasn't too upset with this. It's just I'm so annoyed by 50-50 booking, and the hometown hero has to lose every time. After this, we got to get into this. So we're leading up to Dewdrop versus Tamina, which the match I thought was okay. But, Eva Marie is atrocious. Not just as a wrestler. Like, she is the most unbelievable promo I have ever heard. She is terrible. She has the most wooden dialogue I've ever heard. There's been plenty of female characters whose character is they're the stuck-up you know what? And she's naturally unlikable. Like, people naturally don't like her. But the problem is, it's to the point nobody cares. There were tons of CM Punk chants. A lot of CM Punk chants. Every time there was CM Punk chant. They were in Chicago. Every time there was a CM Punk chant, it got squashed. Kevin Dunn was working overtime on the soundboard last night. And it was painfully obvious during the Drew McIntyre match. There was point now, Sean Ross Sapp elaborated on it. He said sources told him that it was a technical issue, but you could audibly hear like Michael Cole's voice say 16-time world champion, which obviously means either Ric Flair or John Cena. Apparently what happened is somehow audio was spliced from a commercial for SmackDown, but immediately everybody's thought was they are so lazy that they're pumping in chants that they forgot to take out the commentary. Like, that's how bad it got last night. But there was a ton of times where it was so painfully obvious that they were piping in either cheers or boos. And when Eva Marie came out, like, you could see the crowd. Nobody was reacting at all. Yet you heard a bunch of boos. Like, nobody cared. Nobody wanted to see it. So the match was okay. Dewdrop ends up losing to Tamina. At least the champion didn't lose in this match. I'm okay with that. I don't like seeing Dewdrop losing this early, but it's going to happen. Tamina looked okay. Eva Maria's terrible. She needs to get off the TV as soon as possible. Now, later on, there's I'll just mention this part now. Later on, there is, they go backstage and it's starting to be, shows Alexa Bliss on her swing. Immediately, Bray Wyatt chants come out. And they immediately get squashed by the soundboard. Yeah, that's what happened. There was a distraction during the match where Alexa came up on the screen, and she was doing the hurt and heel, like hands on the head thing. But so it was nice to see her do a little tribute to Bray, because nobody else is going to do it. I hate this company. I love professional wrestling, but God, it's hard to like WWE. They do so much terrible shit. So today, after yesterday, after Ric Flair was let go, they finally announced it today. He asked for his release. What normally happens when a wrestler is released? What is the go-to line every time a wrestler is released? We would like to wish this person the best in their future endeavors. They didn't post that. All they did is say, Ric Flair's been released. How petty can you frickin' be? Again, trying to hold back language. How petty can you be? It's Ric Flair. And you don't have the courtesy to at least wish him well in his future endeavors? Screw you! So, moving on. Next, okay. Next we go into a Miz TV segment. Before this, there's a backstage segment that's actually pretty good between Damian Priest and Matt Riddle. And I'm going to say Damian Priest is getting really good at the mic. And they need to put him on the mic more. And I'll explain this later as we get further into this, to the Miz TV segment. So they do a Miz TV segment. This segment is god awful. God awful. Like, I really like John Morrison. Really like John Morrison. But this entire act is getting really stale between him and Miz. It got stale a long time ago. But the Miz is insufferable right now on the mic. He's insufferable. And we know he can cut good promos, which is why this has sucked so bad. We know that they can both cut pretty good promos. And they drag, again, Damian Priest into it. Damian Priest has had to deal with Miz and Morrison for like 7 to 8 months. So all the way back to the Royal Rumble and through WrestleMania, they had their match with Bad Bunny. And he still can't get away from him. They do their stupid correct shit. Sorry, I can't help it anymore. They get through that, which needs to go away. It's not, ooh, I don't like this person, heat. It's, I want to turn the channel off, heat. It was so hard to watch this. But there was one good plot. Damian Priest wasn't terrible. Damian Priest was the only decent thing in this entire segment. But they dragged him down. And at the end, it really annoyed me because all he did was take the stupid drip stick and start spraying Miz with water. This led to a match between Damian Priest and John Morrison. Good match. Damian Priest wins the match. Immediately, Sheamus comes out. Attacks Damian Priest. Ricochet comes out and helps fend off Sheamus. This leads to a tag team match, playa. So, which, again, Damian Priest beats John Morrison. What's the point of doing 2 matches? They could have taken this whole time and had one tag team match, because I'm guessing they're still trying to do Ricochet versus John Morrison. I'm guessing that's still the feud they're trying to put there. Damian Priest is obviously going after the U.S. title, which I'm perfectly fine with. I agree, John Morrison kind of has to take the pin, but he didn't have to lose twice. They could have just done one tag team. If they had to do this Miz TV segment, have Ricochet in there too. And have Sheamus. Again, the matches were really good because John Morrison, Ricochet, Sheamus, and Damian Priest are all really good wrestlers. So they're going to have a decent match. After this, we have Riddle takes on Omos. This was good. I really like this. It feels like Omos has taken a lot of criticism. A lot of people have been mentioning how bad his selling was a few weeks ago, especially at the pay-per-view. And Riddle bumped his ass off for Omos. He made Omos look like $1 million here. This is really a squash. It was really just a squash for Omos. But Riddle made Omos look like $1 million. It very much resembled like when AJ Styles would have his matches with like Kevin Nash and other big guys. He always made them look even better than they were. And with someone as green as Omos, Riddle made him look really good here. This is probably one of my favorite segments of the night, for sure. Okay, let's get into this. Next, we have Karrion Kross. Another rematch against Keith Lee. This time, Keith Lee picks up the win. I'm all for Keith Lee winning matches. But why is it that they have to do this where they take two people that should be both be being built up as these two unstoppable forces? There are plenty of guys in the 24/7 division that could be used as cannon fodder to squash them, for both Karrion Kross and Keith Lee to just squash and make them look like $1 million. And then you can build to them clashing together at like SummerSlam. I'd be perfectly fine with that. If they were building to Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee at SummerSlam, where both of them were like beating these jobbers constantly, I'd be fine with that. But again, you got to do 50-50 booking where it makes neither guy look good. Both guys are 1-2 since coming back. 1-2. I'm not even a fan of Karrion Kross, and that's stupid. That's completely stupid. You have the NXT champion who guarantee is going to have like a 30-minute match against Samoa Joe, who I'm guessing is barely going to beat Karrion Kross at TakeOver. So the guy who Samoa Joe can barely beat at TakeOver loses 2 minutes to a roll-up by Jeff Hardy and loses. Now, again, I'm perfectly fine with Keith Lee winning matches. But then he loses to Keith Lee, who himself has lost 2 matches. So both guys come out of this looking terrible. It makes nobody care about them. Oh, and there was no reaction for Karrion Kross whatsoever. Again, a lot of CM Punk chants. After this, we have the 24/7 champion Reggie takes on Akira Tozawa. I was fine with this match. It was painless. It was quick, like 5 minutes. Reggie wins. This is where I think Reggie perfectly fits. Keep him in the 24/7 division. I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no problem with it. Probably the second best thing on the show. No, third best. We'll get into what the best thing on the show was. Well, match-wise. So earlier on, there is a promo by Charlotte. This was bad. Really bad. So she brings up Simone Biles. There really wasn't I know they went for a boo to get a boo reaction, which was stupid. And then she stumbled through her promo. It was a long promo. I couldn't tell you what else was. It was so cringy. So cringy. It to me, it slapped with the bringing up Simone Biles is slaps of Paige bringing up Reed Flair's death. Like that level of just grossness in different ways. But trying to bring they try to bring up newsworthy stuff. They always have to bring up newsworthy stuff in promos. It was bad. And she stumbled through her promo, and she was trying to find a bunch of these weapons because it's going to be a no DQ, no holds barred match. She's trying to go underneath the ring to find all these weapons that she's going to use in the match. She brings out a broom, and finally Nikki comes out from behind her and hits her with a chair, and she runs off. It was bad. Now this match was really, really, really good. Really good. I will fully say, commend both of them. This was a really good match. Nikki wins. Good to see. And she won clean as a sheet. Nothing stupid. Won clean as a sheet against Charlotte. Now they did. Charlotte basically speared herself through a table, which set up the finish. So I'm fine with. Here's the thing. I am perfectly fine with underdog babyface booking, where the heel, someone like Charlotte, who is known to be multi-time champion, is beating up the babyface, and they come back and they win the match. I'm perfectly fine with that. We see that with Darby Allin all the time. He's always facing bigger guys or, more experienced guys, and he's a scrappy guy that comes back and finds ways to win. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's how I want to see. That's exactly how I'd want to see Nikki Cross being used. Nikki ASH. Still stupid. But it's really good. You can book underneath underdog baby faces. That's fine. But 50-50ing, which again, this was a rematch in 50-50, it doesn't always do that person justice. The reason Darby Allin gets gigantic reactions is he's a scrappy underdog babyface who finds ways to win matches. He wins matches. He doesn't lose or I almost beat you. No, he wins matches. And that's why he's one of the top faces in the company, and that's why he's going to be CM Punk's first challenger, first opponent. Because he's a guy who wins all the time, So it's going to mean more when CM Punk is able to beat him. And then they have the handshake at the end. That's how you book credible baby faces. And how someone can take a loss and it not hurt them. This has been your Raw review. If you like this, give me a like, subscribe, comment down below. I will see you in the next video.